Good afternoon. It is me again, Crystal Gunn, and thank you for joining me for my office hours training. So, as a financial strategist, life insurance agent, and small business advisor, I help you to heal and redefine your personal financial relationship. I help you build a strong and solid business foundation for which you can soar and grow. And I help you use life insurance and other estate planning tools to build wealth, to protect your loved ones and your assets, and to pass down that generational wealth that we talk about so often. I also help you to have some aha moments, some self-discovery moments, and helping you see what no longer serves you so that you can release all of that madness. Again, healing that personal financial relationship so that you can soar. Because releasing that helps with the breakthroughs. Naming the thing, knowing it, recognizing it, understanding why you operate the way that you operate, again, helps with all of the breakthroughs. Because it's those breakthroughs that starts the shift that's necessary, that we all need. That's where that magic happens, be it in your personal finances or your overall business. And so all of August is dedicated to life insurance because it is so very important. And I started with misconceptions, right? Why they exist, what are they? Making you see things a little different along the way, educating you some on some life insurance, and hopefully connecting to get you adequate coverage where there are gaps, right? And so I started with misconceptions as opposed to jumping into life insurance, again, because there's so many, and those misconceptions are keeping a lot of people from getting the average coverage, the adequate coverage that they need. And so go back and watch these past episodes. So all of last week was misconceptions. All of this week will be misconceptions. Next week, we'll move into why you need life insurance and give you some examples. But you want to see, as you watch the misconceptions and you hear me talk about them, you've probably had some of those misconceptions. And so hopefully you seeing those episodes will help clear those misconceptions up for you so that you can understand the true power in life insurance. And then we can move forward and get you some coverage if you have none, or get you adequate coverage if you are lacking coverage, right? So misconception number 7 is single people or people with no dependents don't need life insurance. Let me start this out by saying everyone needs life insurance. Everyone. If you're alive, you need life insurance, right? Now, does everybody need the same amount or the same type of policy? Absolutely not, because there's no cookie cutter solution, right? But everyone needs life insurance. And so I want to go over 5 reasons why single people or single people with no current dependents still need life insurance. Because I know somebody out there watching, because I ain't got, and I've talked to people who say that, well, it's just me, so I don't need life insurance. That's not true, right? So let's start with number 1, final expenses. Life insurance is going to cover the funeral costs and other final expenses, so your loved ones don't have to pay out of pocket during a time when they already are grieving your loss. One thing for sure is everybody's going to die. And so I always say it's irresponsible to leave those that love you and that are grieving your death. It's irresponsible to leave them to figure out how they're going to pay for your service. So at a minimum, right, leaving money for someone to take care of your final expenses, your funeral costs, not doing it is irresponsible. So at a minimum, you need to have enough for that. And some people, I talk to some older folks. I meet with some people at a senior facility, and some of them I talk to, they literally, they don't have any assets. They don't have a lot of money sitting in a bank account. Some of them don't even have cars, right? Because this is not a high-end senior facility, but they make sure that they have enough coverage so that their children or their siblings don't have to pay out of pocket for their funeral, right? So you want to make sure, again, at least you have that. Number 2 reason why single people or people with no current dependents still need life insurance: future insurability, right? Locking in a life insurance policy while you're young and healthy can secure lower premiums. So the earlier you have insurance, the better, right? And if your health changes in the future, can become, I don't really even want to say more difficult, but definitely more expensive to get coverage. Or just as you get older, life insurance becomes, the price goes up, right? Healthy or not. So to get it at a younger age ensures future insurability. Always the younger, the better. I say it again and again, but being older does not prohibit you. But again, another reason why single people, even if you don't have dependents, need life insurance, right? Debt coverage. Number 3, it can cover debts, right? And I already know somebody's out there saying, well, Crystal, I'm dead. I don't care about this debt. Now, that's one way to look at it. However, life insurance can cover those obligations so that those creditors don't come and try to take the money out of your estate, right? So, because everybody has an estate. Everybody has an estate, whether you believe it or not. And so that estate could be the money in the bank, life insurance, life insurance that you have, this house that you have, this car, the jewelry, the furs, whatever it is, that's part of your estate. Well, if you leave debt, those creditors can come after your estate. And so you may have thought that, okay, well, I'm going to leave, these furs to my children, or, this house to such and such. But if you have all of this other debt, the creditors can come and petition the court to get paid what they owe. So just because you die doesn't mean your debt dies with you. The other thing about that, though, is, and this falls into number 4 and number 5, but let's say you have a mortgage and you don't have kids, right? But let's say you have a sibling, your sister, or your brother, and and their spouse and children. Let's say you have a nicer house than they have, or bigger, and they need more space, or it's in a better neighborhood, or whatever it is. And you say, you know what, if something happens to me, I would want my sister to have this house, or my brother and his family to have this house, or my sister and her family to have this house. But if you have a mortgage, they may not be able to pay their mortgage. However, if you had that life insurance policy that covered the cost to pay off their mortgage, and then you left the house to them, you just did them a solid, right? And so when you start to think about it that way, no, you don't have siblings, or you may say, you know what, I want to pay off this debt, and then they can sell this house to use the proceeds to put my niece and nephew through college. So using it for debt coverage, covering those assets, right? Ensuring that your family or co-signers on any debt aren't burdened with your financial responsibilities. Okay. Number 4, for estate planning, just in general, even without dependents, life insurance can be part of an estate plan. You can designate the beneficiaries, including family members, friends, or charitable organizations, to receive that death benefit, right? So Again, you want to make sure that you have enough that someone else doesn't have to pay for your funeral. But what else? How else do you want to bless somebody? Again, you may have nieces and nephews, and you may say, you know what? I want to make sure that they're taken care of. I want to add to whatever their parents are doing because I don't, if you don't have children of your own, right? So you may want to do that and say, well, yeah, I'm going to then do this and leave my niece and nephew $500,000, and you're going to put that in a trust so that it can be paid out. You may do that even if their parents are fine and okay. But also think about the siblings that you have, because everybody, or the relatives that you have, the cousins that you have that may not have the best life, and therefore their children don't have the best life, but you may want to be able to set their children up, right? Well, you got a relatively inexpensive policy because you got it early. Now that death benefit helps them. You put that benefit, that death benefit in the trust, and you can pay them monthly. This amount goes if they want to go to college. This amount goes so that you have a say in that and you can bless someone else. The other thing is leaving leaving a legacy, right? So when you talk about charitable organizations, you may have a sorority or fraternity that you're part of, or you might be a member of the National Business League, or the Rotary Club or the Lions Club, and you say, you know what, I've supported them and made donations and volunteered and been on the board, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, for all of these years. Well, when I die, I want to leave a legacy. So you could set up and say, you know what, I'm going to take part of this death benefit, and it's very specific instructions set up in that trust that you may say, you know what, $250,000 I want to go to XYZ organization that I've been a part of all of my life. And with this money, I want them to create a scholarship fund for, you may have been an engineer, a scholarship fund for engineers, or just kids going to college from your city, whatever it is, but you get to using the proceeds or the money from the death benefit to leave a legacy in your name with that charitable organization, right? And then the fifth is building wealth. Some life insurance policies, like whole life, accumulate cash value over time, which can be used. You can borrow against it. You can use it for retirement. You get to a certain age, you want to start drawing money down every single month to supplement your income at retirement, or any other financial needs. Your kid is getting married, your kid is going to college, you want to be able to pull that money from that. And I know someone's saying, well, Crystal, I can do that with a regular savings account. You're not going to, they're not paying you anything on a savings account. But what you're getting paid on that money that's building in that cash value for that insurance policy far outweighs that. And so being able to use that, you may say, you know what, I don't want to go to the bank to get a loan for a car. I want to use my money in my insurance policy, and then I'm paying that back as opposed to paying the bank back, right? So you have these opportunities to use it for building wealth as well. And then also providing financial security beyond the death benefit, right? Those things, pulling out money for retirement. Other financial needs. Oh my God, we got an emergency. I need to pull $10,000 because we need a new roof. My daughter is getting married. I need to pay for the wedding, things of that nature, right? So that's in addition to what that death benefit is going to leave for someone else. The other thing is we talk about, again, passing down generational wealth. This is a way to do that, right? You leave your kids $500,000 or $1 million, you've just passed down some wealth. Now, let me say this. You can't just leave somebody $1 million. You need to put that money in a trust so that you can dictate, if you will, how that money is going to be spread out over their life, right? Especially if you haven't taught them about how to use money. And I have a client, a personal coaching client, and we're in getting her life insurance. Her daughter is 23, 24, and I already said, you leave me $500,000, I'm balling out. So we know that money needs to go in a trust so that mom can dictate how that money comes. You get X amount of dollars every single month, so that she just doesn't go on a shopping spree and spend that $1 million or that $500,000. And trust me, I've seen it happen time and time again. People will say, okay, you got kids, young kids, and if something happens to you, oh, well, my sister will take care of those kids. My sister will take care of the kids. So I'm just going to leave the money to her. And I'm like, yeah, but You leave them $500,000 or $1 million or $1.5 million to your sister. You don't know what your sister's going to do with that $1 million until she receives it. And at that point, you're gone. So you don't know if they're using it the way that you need to use it. So being able to then put it in a trust, again, passing down that wealth to the generations that follow you is critical. And it's a way for someone who doesn't have $5 million to be able to say, well, I want to give $1 million to every one of my children, or $500,000 to my children when I'm gone. You can use the life insurance as a tool in order to be able to do that. So again, everyone, if you're alive, you need life insurance. Doesn't matter what age, right? Doesn't matter whether or not you're single. You might get married someday. Like, none of that matters. The amount of coverage and types of policies will differ based on the individual, but every single individual needs life insurance. So do me a favor. If you're single, think about who you would have. I'm sorry. If you're single, think about who would have to pay for your funeral. Who would have to cover the cost? Is it going to be your parents? Are your parents still alive? Is it going to be your siblings? Is it right? Your friends? Who's going to have to cover the cost for that, right? Think about the rest of your life as well. Would having a cash value in a policy that you could pull down later in life be beneficial to you when you retire? Well, I want to pull down $2,000 a month, or I want to pull down $4,000 a month. Well, if you have it sitting there and you have that type of policy, you can do that. Think about your legacy. What type of legacy do you want to even leave? What you want to be? And could life insurance do that for you? So what type of legacy do you want to leave? What could that legacy be? And could life insurance help you do that? Life insurance is a necessity. And so when I talk about getting your financial house in order, life insurance is part of that. Leaving your loved ones without your income, or trying to figure out how to pay for your funeral, is irresponsible. So when you talk about you love your family, the very least you could do is have adequate life insurance coverage. We as a people, Black folks, are missing out on an industry that could help to stop that 2053 prediction of Blacks having zero wealth. We are missing out on the benefits of having life insurance, and we're missing out on the benefits of having a career in life insurance. When we talk about 2053 prediction of Blacks having zero wealth, getting your financial house in order is how we ensure that prediction doesn't become a reality. 2053 is 29 years away. We can't wait until 2050 to start working on our finances. We have to start today. Talk about building generational wealth. Life insurance is one of the tools that you use to do so. We talk about breaking generational curses. So if the curse is going to stop with you, then the new system of success must start with you. You have to get the tools in order to create those new systems of success and pass down that generational wealth. So what is my favorite thing for today? My favorite thing, you already know, is going to be life insurance, right? Life insurance. And again, we've talked about misconceptions almost for these past 2 weeks. Tomorrow we'll talk about a few more misconceptions. And then next week we'll get into a thing. But again, everybody needs life insurance. Please understand that piece of it. And this is a journey, right? Getting your financial house in order is a journey, and it's one step at a time. And so following me and doing the things that I suggest and having conversations with people like me, not your friends and family and coworkers, if this is not what they do, it's going to help you to create that plan. It's going to help you to get your financial house in order. So life insurance is my favorite thing. And what do? Again, all things being step by step. I talk about this all of the time. Complete the life insurance calculator to see how much coverage you should have. Some people have life insurance, but they're woefully inadequate in coverage amount. When you start to look at what needs to happen if you die, right? Somebody will say, oh, well, I have a $50,000 life insurance policy at work. Well, if you have people in the house that live with you, now your income is gone. What are they going to do with that? So that $50,000, if you made $50,000, well, that's going to last them 1 year, maybe a year and a half, because taxes aren't being taken out of that. But again, complete the life insurance calculator to see how much coverage you should have, even if you're single and you don't have any dependents. Okay. The second one is schedule a free consultation with me and let's discuss the options. If you have done that calculator and that life insurance calculator and you have inadequate coverage, meaning you don't have enough coverage for what you need, schedule a consultation with me. The link is in the bio. If you want to know more about the life insurance industry, use that same link to schedule a free consultation and we can talk about it. And then we want to fill in the gaps in coverage and get you the adequate coverage that you need, and then also get your children insured. And I know this one was the misconception of people being single. However, with no dependents, you still, if you have children, we want to make sure that they're covered as well. Because remember, the earlier that they get insurance, especially permanent insurance, they're in with that premium amount, right? And that premium amount lasts them through life. So you want to stay at that and set them up to win in life. Again, being able to pass down some generational wealth. So schedule those links, schedule those consultations with me. Again, the links are in the bio. Also, not the bio, in the description. Go back and look through all the other stuff that's in the description. You will find information and tools and resources and the links therein in order to help you along your journey of getting your financial house in order. Okay. So it's a process, y'all. It's definitely a process. And, we don't know what we don't know. In most instances, we weren't taught this. Last month, I talked about why we operate the way that we do and the historical context behind that, from slavery and post-emancipation, and then what has happened. And when I talk about your financial relationship and how it was created by things outside of you, part of that comes from that history that's now coded in our DNA. And so we don't know why we operate the way that we do. And part of my job is to get you to understand that so that you can heal it, release it, and move forward. So if any of this information has been helpful, subscribe to my channel and be sure to turn notifications on so you don't miss a training. If you are in need of personal or business strategy, let's talk about it. The links for scheduling a consultation for those are also in the description. And as I always say, when I leave you, is give yourself some grace. We don't know what we don't know. And wherever you are today, it is okay. What's not okay is staying in that same position, right? So give yourself some grace. I talked to someone who's a new client, and her main concern, well, not her main concern, but as she listed the main concerns, one of them was she was worried that it was too late for her to start. And it's never, ever, ever too late. So give yourself some grace. Keep striving for your next level. You're not in competition with anybody else. You just want to be better than what you were yesterday. You want to make sure that your financial house is in order. So keep striving in order to get it in order, and never give up on you. Never, ever, ever give up on you. Not too old. It's not too late. Don't give up on you, and invest in you. We have to stop looking at life insurance premiums and things like that as expenses and look at them as investing in you, because you are absolutely worth it, and your family and loved ones are worth it as well. So thank you for joining me today for another office hours training, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.